Hey everybody. It's one of the most frequent questions I have been asked since the very beginning when I first started making pregnancy vlogs is if I plan to stay home or go back to work. And I pretty much avoided answering that question, partially because I really didn't know, and secondly just because I'm really conflicted about it. If I had my way, I would definitely stay home full-time and be a full-time mom to Alice. I know it's not a choice for everybody, but that's something that I've always envisioned, and it always felt right to me. I think it's something I'd really enjoy. I think I'd feel fulfilled enough. I wouldn't miss going to work, and it would just allow me to accomplish a lot of the goals that I have for her. However, where we're at right now doesn't really allow for that. And that's a combination of things. Alice's 1 week stay in the NICU has left us with a lot of medical bills, even though we've had pretty decent insurance. Mike works at a nonprofit, and he doesn't make a ton of money. It's really not enough to carry all of us. And in addition, we've had a lot of sort of unexpected stuff come up with our house this summer, and we do help out some family members financially. And also, we live such a low impact lifestyle anyway, we really don't have a lot of room to cut back on our expenses. We follow a budget every month, we track all of our expenses, and we've already made a lot of the changes that people sometimes make at this point, when they come to this decision. We've already made a lot of changes to reduce our utility bills and be more energy efficient. We only have one car. We don't have cable. We don't have any big ticket items to sell. We buy most things secondhand. We cook at home. We've really already sort of made all those changes, or most of the changes that we could make along those lines. So where we're at is that I do need to work to some degree. My priorities at this point are first to protect breastfeeding, and second to avoid paying for daycare. So the plan that Mike and I have come up with is that I am planning to work part-time, mostly from home, but I will go into my office for 2 half days a week. It'll be about 4 hours, 3.5 to 4 hours at a time, because I feel that's the longest that I can go without having to pump milk during that day. My office does not have any place to pump. I don't have a private space at all, and there's nothing but a bathroom that many people share. So I don't feel like that's an option for me, and I do not want to jeopardize my milk supply. So I'm going to see how long I can be away from Alice, and I think 4 hours works. During that time, Mike is going to work from home here and take care of her. And basically, we're just going to see how it goes. We're going to make the switch. I'll come back from the office, make the switch, he'll go in, and he'll continue to work his full-time hours. And like I said, I'll have some projects here to finish, when Alice is napping. I have a goal that by maybe December, I hope we can work out some other sort of arrangement. I would really like to only work from home and not have to deal with the logistics of having one car and switching, me going in, coming back, giving Mike the car, him going in, and giving us a little bit more leeway with unexpected things coming up, or Alice getting sick, or changes to Mike's schedule at work, whatever. So, I am currently investigating other possibilities. I'm definitely looking at doing more transcription work. There's some online stuff you can do, and I think that it's also just something I can build relationships with other attorneys in town and do some of that work here on my own. I'm looking pretty seriously at starting either an Etsy or a Hyena Cart shop. I love to make crafts. I crochet, I sew a little bit, and I've got a bunch of ideas for things that I could make. I just need some time to do it, to stash away these things, and hopefully bring in a little bit of money on the side. I know some of you out there are work-at-home moms and you do sell stuff that way, and I'd love any advice you had. my idea is really still in the beginning stages, and like I said, I'd really like to solidify those plans a whole lot more, but early on, I'd love to hear anything you have to share. A few other really little things. I'm a notary, so I can notarize documents. I just need to advertise that, so I can list myself in the phone book or put a sign in the window or something, and get a few dollars here and there notarizing documents. I've also been encouraged by people in the past to think about doing catering, maybe just desserts, something like that. And our emergency plan is that, as you'll see if I ever get around to doing a house tour, we have an in-law unit in our backyard that we use as just like a guest house for when people come to visit. Nothing fancy, but the previous owners did rent it out. We would have to invest a little bit to get the place a little bit nicer and more livable, but that can be an option for us. We can rent it either as a little apartment, or we talked about maybe renting it as studio space to an artist. So in the next 4 months, my plan is to work as hard as I can on coming up with a better plan. What I feel in my heart is that I really want to be here. Especially right now, Alice, for me, she's just too young for daycare. We don't have any family in town, and there's really nobody else that we can trust her with. Staying home with my kids has always been a dream of mine, so I'd really, really like to make it happen. I also think me being here full-time will help us keep expenses down. So that's the answer to the question for now. Again, I'd love any tips, and if you can send some good intentions our way, keep your fingers crossed, whatever works. I'm really hoping by December to have something worked out. Thanks, and thanks for watching.